Hello. Okay, so today I will be handing out grades for the Thunder for the 2024-2025 NBA season. And honestly, I would love to hear what you guys think. So if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, especially, please let me know. Leave a comment with what you disagree with me the most. Before I get started, my name is Nathan. This is Thunder Up Talk, and I'm going to give a grade for each individual player. Now, keep in mind, I am going to grade them for their role. So, how I feel like they performed in their role. That's my mindset for these grades. So, I'm just going to start from the top, work my way down. Shea, easiest grade of them all, A plus. A season like that doesn't get much better when you're Finals MVP, regular season MVP, lead the league in scoring. Uh, and everything else in between. He's an NBA champ. He's the best player. He led us to an NBA championship. So clearly an A plus. Jalen Williams. So I debated on this a little bit because he struggled in the playoffs. Now we all know that he struggled because he had a wrist injury, and because of that, I'm still giving him an A plus. I think the fact that he fought through that wrist injury all through the playoffs, I was going to give him an A, but knowing all of that and what he had to go through, all the injections in the wrist and the hand area, is like 30 some odd injections. Clearly, I have to give him an A plus. He still scored 40 points in the finals game as well. He was so versatile throughout the season. He was our five for like a stretch in the season where he was guarding the center. He was all NBA on defense, all NBA, third team, I believe. He was so good for our team and very clearly the second best player throughout the entire season, including the playoffs. Number three, so I went with Chet here, giving him an A minus. The reason why I give him an A minus is because I just felt like in the playoffs he has more to give. And I know he was coming off of an injury, so I might be a little harsh here. He's clearly in the A range for sure because of the way he just dominated on the defensive side of the court. But even before the injury, I just feel like there's a lot of room for him, which is really scary because he's already so good. Uh, I'm going to talk about this in a later video of what I want each player to improve on. And I definitely have ideas and thoughts on that, but I'll keep it short and simple. I just believe he's got a whole lot more that he can do on the offensive end. If he just improves on his catch and shoot threes alone in the playoffs, that alone will probably bump him back up to the A plus range in my mind. Um, Coming next, my next A, I've got two more A's. The next A for me is Lou Dort. He played his role perfectly. He guarded the best player day in, day out on the perimeter. He hit huge threes, huge timely threes in the playoffs. And early on in his career to what he is now, it's incredible. We wanted him to be a 3-and-D player, and he is shooting at a respectable 3-point percentage. You know, he'll have highs, he'll have lows, but he seems to really come up big game Lou when it really matters. So I gave him an A. He didn't get an A plus just because of the up and down with the shooting a little bit, but again, still a great season. I'm also giving Alex Caruso an A, and he's the last A that I'm going to give. I'm giving him an A quite simply because to begin with, he stayed healthy throughout the season. And kudos to the Thunder for really sticking to a game plan, being disciplined as far as keeping him. They were basically load managing him all throughout the regular season. I think if he had any kind of ankle tweak, any kind of swelling anywhere, I feel like they were saying, okay, you're sitting out for a few games. And it really worked out in our favor. And man, I don't think we won the Denver series without Alex Caruso, the way he guarded um, Joker Jokic in Game 7 was it's so mind blowing that they decided to do that and that it actually kind of worked. So again, Alex Caruso, he's the last day. Isaiah Hartenstein. So I'm giving him a B plus. He's going to be the only B plus that I give. And we don't survive the regular season without him at all. I don't believe playing at the five with Chet missing all of those games. Jalen did really good, but I think he would have. I think he would have fatigued out, possibly gotten hurt. Something could have happened with Jalen continuing to play, attempting to play the five throughout the season. I really love Isaiah Hartenstein's rebounding. That was big all throughout the season. His passing was huge. All the cutters hitting him on the backdoor cuts was so awesome to watch throughout the season. The reason why I'm giving him a B plus is because I do feel like his impact um, kind of fell down a little bit in the playoffs. He wasn't bad. He still played very good. He especially rebounding. I think in the playoffs when defenses tighten up a little bit, um, he didn't have quite the impact with the playmaking that he did during the regular season. Um, and he didn't quite hit all those floaters. I don't feel like he was doing in the regular season as well. And again, the defenses are ramping up. They're doing their homework. So totally understandable. Still had a great season. I'm giving him a B plus. The next player up is Kase Wallace. I felt like uh, he did so good in his role throughout the regular season. In the playoffs, he kind of showed that he's a younger player. He had some careless turnovers on the offensive side of the ball. He still has some great plays, but again, kind of like I Heart, I feel like his just his impact fell just a little bit. And he's such a young player. I'm not really even holding that against him. A B for that young of a guy for this type of team is still incredible. Next, I have Aaron Wiggins. I thought he was super solid throughout the season. He, like Isaiah Joe, are just those kind of players that you need throughout the regular season to get you to the playoffs, to be great vet players that can score off the bench for you. He was extremely good during the regular season. I mean, and it feels like he just continues to improve and improve and improve. I felt like he had a little bit better of an impact in the playoffs than Joe did. So I give him a B. And again, you start to see that the role players, their impact goes down a little bit with the playoffs. The higher up guys like Shea and Dub, their impact stays the same or goes up. But again, Aaron Wiggins getting a B to me is still um, a great grade for a guy coming off the bench. And then next, I've got Jalen Williams, and he also is going to get a B for me. Again, for his role, his minutes were spotty. Sometimes he'd play a lot, sometimes he wouldn't. It feels like he's really expanded that three to make it be a reliable three. And he wouldn't play a lot in some series in the playoffs, but his minutes against Jokic again to come back to that Denver series were massive. I felt like he gave some really good minutes. He hit some threes that were timely every now and then as well. Um, for his height and the position that he has to play, he does really good for this team. So he gets another B. Now I'm going to group a couple of other guys. AJ Mitchell, Kendrick Williams, I gave them a B as well. So I'm handing out a lot of Bs. Maybe I'm being too easy on them, but for a rookie, Mitchell was awesome. He got hurt. I'm not holding that against him, but I don't think he was going to be a guy that we completely relied on in the playoffs as a rookie. I just don't believe that. Um, but I do look forward to seeing what he's got and what he's going to do for the rest of the season. And then kind of to go along with Wiggins and Jalen Williams, Kendrick Williams, he also gets a B. And, he's just a vet that fills his role. Again, he'll play some games he won't. Um, in some of the series, he just hardly put it all. Sometimes Mark would put him in, give him some spot minutes, and he always has an impact, and it's never a negative impact. Like his plus minus seems to always be a higher plus minus when he is in the game. And I think it's because he probably doesn't have a high ceiling, but I think his floor, he's just a safe player. And I think when Mark knows that he puts him in, he's going to hustle. Can he hustle, of course? He's going to rebound. He's going to be in position on the defensive end. And he's going to hit a shot here and there if he's open. So he was really, really good for us as well. Now I'm going to get to uh, Isaiah Joe. So Isaiah Joe is, I think, my only B minus, and this might feel kind of harsh, but it felt like he was the biggest drop off, in my opinion, in impact for the bench players, for a role player. He just wasn't able to, it feels like, get shots off during the playoffs when it really mattered. And I do feel like that's something that the Thunder can work on. I think it's something that he can work on, that Mark can work on. I don't know if it's moving him a little bit more, running him off screens, just to get, if he's open, he'll hit the shot. I think in the playoffs, it was just difficult for him to even get shots up, which, again, defenses tighten up and they do their homework. So it's not too surprising, but it felt like he just, again, didn't have quite the impact in the playoffs that I would have liked. I think if he played similarly to how he played during the regular season, a couple of those series, we win in a game or two less. And to be fair, Wiggins and Joe, if they would have played like they did throughout the regular season, I think we would have had a smoother road throughout the playoffs. But again, this is a young team and they did great. And I don't want to harp on Joe too much. He is still a great player. He's a regular season player, and you have to get through 82 games to get to the playoffs, and that matters. I don't think that's talked about enough. We beat the Cavs for the number one seed to have home court advantage all throughout the playoffs. Now, it wouldn't have mattered because we would have had home court over Indiana, but I do think, especially for a young team, it's really important to have home court advantage. So, still a very good season in my book. Last but not least, we have a couple C's. Usman Jang. You know, he's a 6'10" a wing. I think he's got a lot of the tools that he could be successful in this league. He's got a decent shot. He already plays NBA level defense. He just, for whatever reason, and he's still young, but for whatever reason, he just isn't assertive enough. He should drive to the rim a whole lot more or try to find ways to do that. And just inject himself in the offense a little bit more, in my opinion. Easier said than done in the NBA and for a young player. But for a team this good, he's going to have to do something. And honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he's not on the roster by the start of the season or by the trade deadline going into next season. And I think if he got some run on another team that's not quite as good, get him some minutes, he could be fairly good. I think he could play in the NBA. I really do think that. Last but not least, we have Dylan Jones. He gets a C. We traded him to the Wizards, I believe, and he just basically came in, played in minutes that just basically trash time at the end of the season. He was all right. Nothing spectacular stood out. But he wasn't really doing anything on the court that just made you go, wow. I'm glad he's getting a chance to get some minutes somewhere else, and hopefully he'll be able to take advantage of that. But with that, those are my notes. Those are my thoughts, grading all the Thunder players last season. So again, my name is Nathan. This is Thunder Up Talk. And please, please, please leave any kind of comment if you agree with anything. And like I said, especially if you disagree with anything, leave a comment. So I will talk to you later, and Thunder Up.